The shadow on the wall. It was a night like any other, or at least I thought so. Silence reigned in the room, a heavy, almost oppressive silence that grew thicker as the darkness settled outside the window. The house seemed to be at rest, but something in the air told me that something was off. That feeling you get when you know something is about to happen, but you can't pinpoint what. The chill of the early morning wrapped around me, and I had to pull the blankets up tighter to keep warm. The clock read 3 a.m., the darkest hour, the time when everything seemed a little stranger, a little more unsettling. That's when I heard the first sound. It wasn't loud, more like a faint scrape, almost imperceptible, as if something was dragging slowly against the wall to my left. I thought it was a wind, or perhaps the house shifting in the cold, but the sound persisted and grew louder. I ignored it at first, trying to convince myself it was nothing, but then the scraping repeated, closer now, clearer. At first, it was just an uncomfortable feeling, as if something was watching me from beyond my reach, but as the sound intensified, I began to feel my breathing become irregular. I sat up in bed, my body tense, my muscles rigid. I glanced toward the wall, which seemed perfectly normal, but the noise kept going. Curiosity pushed me to approach slowly, even though part of me knew it was better to ignore it. My hand reached out to the wall, trembling, but not from the cold. Something told me I shouldn't do it, yet I couldn't stop myself. The moment my palm touched the wall, the sound ceased immediately. The room fell into complete silence. For a few seconds, I tried to convince myself that it had all been in my head. But then, something changed. The atmosphere that had once been calm now felt strange, heavy, as though the room itself was waiting for something to happen. And then I saw it, a movement on the wall. It wasn't a reflection or a play of shadows. It was real, a thin, dark figure that seemed to slide slowly across the surface of the wall. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The figure, faint at first, began to take shape, a humanoid outline, but its presence was unmistakably unnatural. It had no face, but I could feel its gaze on me, even though I couldn't see its eyes. A chill ran down my spine and my body froze. The figure moved with a slow, deliberate pace, as though it were enjoying the process. With each movement, the shadow slid more and more across the wall, getting closer and closer. It was so thin it seemed like an extension of the wall itself, a projection that shouldn't be there. I wanted to scream, to run, to get out of the room, but I couldn't move. My eyes followed the shadow, a mixture of fear and fascination, unable to look away. With every scrape of the figure against the wall, the air grew thicker, denser, as if the room itself were being consumed by something dark, something that didn't belong to this world. My breath became heavier, my chest tight. Then I heard a whisper, soft but clear, coming directly from the wall. "Don't run." The voice wasn't human. It was cold, hollow, as though it came from a place beyond time and space. I didn't understand how, but I felt the figure move closer, closer to me. It wasn't just a shadow anymore. It was something tangible, something surrounding me, something that was hunting me. My body began to react, but not the way I expected. I couldn't move quickly, as though my will was being drained, leaving only a body caught between fleeing and staying. But as I tried to move, the figure stopped. It wasn't that it disappeared. It just seemed to be watching me, waiting for something, though I couldn't understand what. Then the lamplight flickered. My heart stopped for a moment. The figure seemed to vanish for an instant, and in the brief moment of full light, I saw it, or rather, I felt it, as it slid again, this time impossibly fast. It wasn't just a shadow anymore. It was a presence, something that had been there long before I ever entered that room, something that didn't want me to discover it. The whisper returned, louder this time. "You shouldn't have woken me." It was as if an invisible hand pushed me toward the wall. My body was dragged toward it, and in the final moments, when I thought the shadow would consume me, the light stabilized again, shining brightly. And in that second, everything stopped. The sound ceased, the pressure lifted, and the figure disappeared. My breathing was erratic. I was sweating, trembling. I collapsed to the floor, staring at the wall, searching for any sign of what had happened. But the room was quiet again. However, from that night on, the scraping returned. Every night, always at 3 a.m., I hear the same sound on the wall, and each time, I feel its presence drawing closer. I can't sleep, I can't escape. The whisper grows louder now, and I know that whatever that figure was, it hasn't forgotten me. Something is waiting for me,